Hey, hey, hey! Welcome back to another episode of Boom Boom, your favorite space where baby fashion gets thoughtful, where we chat, learn, laugh, and sometimes unlearn. Today, we're diving into something that doesn't get talked about nearly enough, and trust me, it's going to change the way you shop for your little ones. You know how we always go mushy when we see babies in tiny clothes, the ruffles, the little jeans, the bow ties that are cuter than anything we've ever owned. Yeah. But here is the thing. Have you ever stopped to wonder if those cute little outfits are actually good for your baby's development? The tight waistbands or stiff fabrics might be messing with how your baby moves, grows, or even breathes. And what if the clothes that we put them in every day are unintentionally holding them back physically, emotionally, and even neurologically? Before we dive into today's important conversation, I am thrilled to introduce the brilliant guest joining us. She's a dedicated medical doctor with a deep passion for empowering people through health education, not just treating illnesses, but helping us truly understand them. From disease awareness to the latest treatment approaches, she holds a bachelor's degree in medicine and surgery and currently serves as a resident medical officer at a private hospital. With hands on experience from an internship in pediatrics, she's worked closely with both children and their parents, gaining insight into the unique needs of growing bodies. Today, she's going to help us to explore a topic that often flies under the radar: how ill fitting clothes can actually impact a child's development, posture, and overall health. Join me as we welcome Dr. Saliha Peachy. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having me and making me a part of such an important conversation.
The first question is, what is the importance of fit? It is so easy to overlook the impact of clothing on a child's development because sometimes we might tend to focus on other things like nutrition, etc. But the right fit matters more than we actually realize. Why should parents care about the fit of their child's clothes, and what is the big deal?
All right, so proper fit is very important. For every age group, our clothing represents us, and it is very important to look appropriate to wear the right fit. But I think there are three main important factors that play a huge role, and it helps us understand the importance of the right fit. The first one would be physical comfort, because comfort is like the basic priority. A child must feel comfortable, does not they must not feel irritated, they must not feel the need to chafe or rub or like feel distracted all the time because of the clothing that they're wearing. And the kind of clothing, it just has to it does not, it has to make them feel comfortable, does not limit their movement, does not limit their participation into activities. So yeah, physical comfort would be the first and the foremost factor that attributes to the importance of right fit. The second and the most important one would be safety. Because if you talk about like oversized clothes, there is a constant hazard of entanglement of a part of the clothing, and the child may trip or fall and may cause any injury to themselves. So yeah, safety is like very important, and the right fit, it prevents certain accidents, and it will prevent any harm to the child. And the third one would be practicality. The child has to feel easy to move around and to participate and do their daily like activities and like not feel distracted. So yeah, these are the three most important factors that we have to understand, and the factors that play a very important role for the right fit of clothing.
Let's talk about footwear and growth. When it comes to babies and toddlers, we often see a lot of tiny, shiny, cute little shoes that are more about style than comfort. How could that style be hurting their feet, their feet growth in the long run?
If you talk about footwear, I mean, one of the most important factor would be the local injuries and the local wounds. If there is a type of footwear that a child is wearing that is too tight, it may cause certain marks on their skin that may get permanent. It may cause local wounds and may cause local infections. And it may also reduce the blood flow to that particular area and cause constant pressure that hinders in the growth of that child. So yeah, I mean, these are certain factors that, or certain outcomes that can be very dangerous for the child, and it can like cause pressure effects and hinder their growth.
How crucial, how important is it for parents to focus on comfort over style in the first few years of a child's life? We're talking about 0 to 6 months, 7 months to a year, right? So, how important is it for parents to focus on the fittings, the clothes of a child when the child is very young?
I think the right fit is very important because these are the years that the child is constantly growing. I mean, they are changing shape, they're going to increase in size, they're going to increase in height and weight. And I mean, these are certain things like that parents have to keep in mind, that they have to cater to the needs of like growth spurts, and they have to understand that like if their child is wearing a very tight clothes, it may result into posture abnormalities and musculoskeletal maldevelopments. And if they're wearing oversized clothing, they may like slouch forward, lean forward, and develop certain postures, and it may affect their gait and may cause like certain balance issues. So I mean, medically a lot of impact is made by what the kind of clothing that the child is wearing. And these are like the basic and most important years that the parents have to be cautious with their clothing, because like the children have to feel comfortable, and there must be ease for them to move and to grow.
From what you've said, most of the effects, the adverse effects of ill-fitting clothes don't come immediately. It happens like a build-up. If you continue wearing, or if you continue having your child wear tight footwear, it could affect the way their feet grows out, right? So ill-fitting clothes, ill-fitting footwear aren't always obvious in the moment, but the subtle damage can cause can last a lifetime. What are some subtle damages that ill-fitting clothes can cause apart from scoliosis, which we've talked about?
Yeah, I mean, it has like huge effects on their physical and emotional growth, because we have talked about certain physical aspects like scoliosis and musculoskeletal developments and certain posture abnormalities. But I think children also require like little older children. They have there are a lot of factors that play in their emotional satisfaction and like confidence, and they have to develop their self esteem. And if they're not dressed appropriately, if they're not wearing the right clothes, they may not feel confident enough, they may not participate, they may not feel free, or to participate or to grow or to play or to learn, and they may just be shy and be restricted all the time because of the clothing that they're wearing. So yeah, I mean, this is a very small thing, but if we look at it at the bigger picture, it plays a very important role.
Tight footwear, right, in children, can it actually harm their growth of bones? I mean, the bone structure, could it affect the formative? Children are in their formative years, right? And they have cartilages. So, could it affect their bones, the bone structure of their feet?
Absolutely, because as I said before, I mean, these things appear in very long term results, and if they're constantly made to wear very tight shoes or very tight footwear constantly through years, they may develop certain bone deformities, and there may be like constant pressure on their feet, which may hinder bone growth and cartilage growth, and there may be foot or toe curling or local wounds and abnormalities that may occur. So these factors play a very important role in the like in ultimate growth of the children. It is very important.
Have you ever had patients come in? and you see their children who had delayed development, maybe in bone size or height, or whatever. If you see like their development delayed or affected just because of what they wore every day.
I personally have not witnessed certain cases, and I think that would be because where I practice, it is like a very developed, part of my country and city, and the patients that usually come are very conscious about their children and about the right fit, and they are like guided from the very beginning. About what they're supposed to make their children wear, and there is like a lot of awareness because of the access to social media and stuff. But I do understand that there are people who are not really aware of these certain situations, and I think that a part of economic situations also plays an important role in this, because certain parents, they make their children share footwear and share clothes, and siblings are wearing their other siblings footwear or clothes, and they do not understand the growth spurts that may occur, and how it can be different for every child. So I think that parents do need to understand that they have to cater to these needs of their children, and it will be different for every child. So this situation may be a little bit more relatable, but I've not seen a lot of cases like that, with especially with footwear. But local irritations, shoe bites, friction rubs, or local wounds, that I've seen a lot of times.
Right. So we've talked about the health hazards of ill fitting clothes on children. Let's talk about the child's mental state. Could something like ill fitting clothes affect a child's confidence in their body movement?
Yes, I mean, it has a huge emotional impact. I mean, because what we're wearing, it basically represents ourselves in every situation that we land into, every interaction that we make. I mean, it is part of ourself, and I think our self confidence also roots from our representation of our visual representation. And I think that when children are not confident enough with what they're wearing and how they're dressed, it causes a huge emotional impact, and it may result into low self-esteem, and they may become self-conscious or embarrassed to interact with any gathering, and they may also develop anxiety and distress, because it ultimately just affects their emotional well-being.
While we often focus on the outerwear, the shoes, the cardigans, the fluffy dresses, we should we often forget that the underwear is also very important. Let's dive into why matters for hygiene and movement. The underwear hygiene and movement of children are important. What could be adverse effects if their underwear is not well fitted, or if it's ill fitting, or it's not well taken care of?
So the right fit really matters, and it just prevents discomfort if the child is wearing the right size, or they will not face any discomfort or irritation, and it will also prevent any moisture buildup, and it will like prevent any bacterial growth or possibility of infections. And it also supports healthy skin when the hygiene is maintained, and when it is the right fit, the right size. It will just allow airflow, and it will reduce any kind of like friction rubs or any local irritation. And if we talk about any infections, I mean, it does decrease the risk of any infection, or like urinary tract infection or any other local infections, because then it also reduces the incidence of any accidents, toilet accidents. I mean, the child, if they're not wearing the right size, if it's too tight or if it's too uncomfortable and they're not able to remove it properly, it may just lead to more incidents and accidents, which may ultimately relate and lead to infections. And I think that it is very important to get like the right size, and to maintain hygiene, to make sure that it is washed after each wash. And yeah, I mean, these are the factors, these are so important.
Could ill fitting underwear cause UTI problems in children?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it can cause a lot of local irritation and burning, and that can lead to ascending infections. And when we talk about children, if we talk about like the general population, UTIs are more common in females than males,
Right.
and it has like due to certain anatomical factors, it is more common in females. So the right fit of undergarments is very important because then it causes local irritation and burning, and that can lead and ascend to certain infections. So the right fit is very important because of these cases.
I saw a video on the internet. A girl's mother was taking her to school, and the little girl kept crying. So her mother tried everything possible to know why she was crying, and she could not. So she took her to the hospital. She took her to school rather, and it was later found out that she had a scorpion in her shoe biting her feet, and everybody was blaming the mother for being very irresponsible and all that. But I decided, right, to come to the conclusion that it's not always easy to know when a child is uncomfortable, because they're not the best people at expressing themselves. Most of them are finding it, or find difficulty in expressing how they truly feel. So let's talk about recognizing the signs. As a parent, it's hard to know when your child's clothes might be doing more harm than good. What are the signs to watch out for?
Okay, so I think that when it comes to children, the signs are like always similar because they're always like when they're irritated, they will cry and they will point to the place they are like that's causing them discomfort. If it's the shoe, if it's the foot, they will point towards the foot and they will just cry, you know. So I think these are two factors that you can recognize in toddlers and in like very small children. In like adolescence, I would say it's like their mood and their constant irritation because parents will try to fix everything, but they will sometimes like they will ignore the fact that they're like something so basic can be so troublesome. For example,
Right.
I mean, if we see like a parent may be very concerned for their child, that their child does not participate enough in school and he does not interact enough with their peers and does not take part, like does not participate in any activities or stage performances, and they will try to motivate their child, they will try to convince them to be friends with popular kids, and they will try to talk to the teachers, but they will not consider their clothing or their comfort, like whatever clothing that they're made to wear. It's if either it's comfortable or not, if the child feels confident enough to interact with their peers, to be among them, to be
Right.
with them, because it does play a very important role, the way other children dress. And if the child is not dressed appropriately, there may be a level of that shyness or like embarrassment that will hold them back. So I think parents do need to filter the basic needs, and they have to understand the change in attitude and behavior. And I think one amendment that can be made is in the involvement of your children. Let them like be a part of their basic decisions. Ask them what they want to wear today, or what kind of clothing that makes them happy. If it's inappropriate, you can help them understand why it's wrong and like how they can make it better. So I think the involvement of your children is also very important, and these are certain things that the parents can like do to improve.
Is there an age where focusing on the right fit is very essential? Is there an age where proper clothing for children becomes even more important?
Yes, I mean the age where as I said before, when they have their growth spurts, because we know that the children, they grow very rapidly and they grow like suddenly. They will have like increase in height and increase in weight, and like it can be sudden and it can be like the parents may be concerned, and they just have to cater to those needs. I mean, adolescents and toddlers, and they grow very rapidly, and parents have to make sure that they are providing the right fit for their clothes and their footwear, and their needs are properly met. Their nutritional needs, their like eating habits, everything, like it makes a difference at this age, like at this growing period. So parents do have to understand that.
When we talk about ill-fitting clothes, right? The dilemma of budgeting comes to play, right? So some parents might argue that they don't have enough funds to continuously change their children's clothes. So that's why some of them go ahead to buy sizes that are too big, in order to wait for the child to grow into it so that they don't have to buy more clothes in the future. If you could give parents one piece of advice about choosing the right clothing for their children, regardless of the budget, regardless of several factors that might influence them to go ahead and choose ill fitting clothes, what would be the advice that you would give them?
I would always like encourage them to go for quality over quantity. Try to get good quality clothes, and I can understand that budget can be a problem because you're constantly changing the clothes because of their sizes and their fit. So you can get like appropriate sized clothes that does not look bad. It does not add an extra bulk to your child's weight. Does not make it too tight for them or too loose for them. Just make it appropriate for the child. Choose good fabrics, choose good quality fabrics that are like durable and breathable, and according to their environment needs, and according to their skin needs. You have to consider these things. And it is very important, like to take in count the style, or like the confidence of your child, their choice, their preference to colors. I think these things do it does play an important role, because every child is different, every child has a different choice and different needs. So just like involve your children, try to go for good quality stuff, and yes, I mean, these are like the golden rules.
A massive thank you to the incredible Dr. Saliha Peachy for breaking it all down in the most accessible way possible. We don't often realize how something as simple as a waistband or a tight seam could actually affect our babies, and how they crawl, the stretch, or even sleep. But after today, I'm sure that we are all informed. At Boom Boom, our mission is to have these sort of conversations, the kinds that make you pause, reflect, and analyze your past actions. So if this episode spoke to you, pass it on to another mother, another auntie, godparent, father, or even a baby brand owner, and let's keep the ripples going. Until next time, dress smart, dress soft, and keep showing up for your babies.